The first drop of acid rain sizzles against Pip's yellow feathers as she watches in horror while her mother's beautiful white plumage begins to smoke and dissolve. The serene morning at Crystal Lake has become a nightmare in seconds as the sky above them turns a sickly green, and every raindrop that falls burns like liquid fire. Pip's younger brother Squeaky screams as the poisonous water hits his tiny wing, leaving a raw, bleeding wound that makes Pip's heart race with terror. Their father desperately tries to shield the family under a large lily pad, but the toxic rain is eating through the vegetation like it's made of paper. "We have to get to the underground caves now," their father shouts over the hissing sound of the acid rain destroying everything it touches. But as they prepare to dive underwater, Pip notices something that makes her blood run cold. The rain isn't natural. High above them, barely visible through the toxic clouds, she can see strange metallic objects floating in the sky, spraying the deadly substance down upon their world. These aren't storm clouds at all. They're machines, alien machines that are systematically poisoning every living thing on Earth. The family desperately swims toward the underwater cave system, but the poison has already begun seeping into the lake water. Fish are floating to the surface with their eyes burned out, and the normally clear water is turning a murky brown that stings Pip's eyes. Squeaky is getting weaker by the second, his small body unable to handle the toxic exposure, and their mother's breathing is becoming labored and wheezy. As they reach the cave entrance, a massive shadow passes overhead. One of the alien machines is descending directly toward their location. Inside the cave, the family huddles together while the sound of destruction echoes from above. But their relief is short-lived when they realize the cave walls are beginning to weep the same toxic substance. The poison is everywhere now, seeping through rock and earth, and there's nowhere left to hide. That's when Pip overhears a conversation between two old turtle elders who speak in hushed, terrified whispers about the source, a massive mothership hidden in the upper atmosphere where the poison originates. Someone would have to fly higher than any bird has ever flown, through layers of deadly atmosphere, to destroy it. Pip's father immediately volunteers for the suicide mission, but Pip knows he'll never survive the journey with his already damaged wings. Her mother is too weak, and Squeaky is just a baby. As the strongest and fastest flyer in the family, Pip realizes with growing dread that she might be their only hope. The turtle elders explain that the journey will take her through 5 layers of increasingly toxic atmosphere, each one designed to kill any creature that tries to reach the source. Many have tried, none have returned. "But there's something else," the eldest turtle croaks, his ancient eyes filled with fear. "The machines aren't just killing us randomly, they're harvesting something from our dying world, our life essence itself. Every creature that dies feeds their power, making them stronger. If they're not stopped within the next 6 hours, they'll have enough energy to spread to other worlds, other planets full of innocent life." Pip's heart pounds as she realizes the weight of responsibility settling on her young shoulders. This isn't just about saving her family or even their world. It's about preventing a cosmic genocide. Against her family's desperate protests, Pip begins her ascent into the poisonous sky. The first layer of toxic atmosphere burns her throat and makes her lungs feel like they're filled with molten metal. Every breath is agony, but she forces herself to fly higher, watching in horror as the landscape below transforms into a wasteland of death. Trees are collapsing into ash, rivers are turning black, and the screams of dying animals echo across the devastated countryside. The alien machines work methodically, spraying their poison in perfect geometric patterns to ensure maximum coverage. At 10,000 feet, Pip enters the second atmospheric layer, and immediately her vision begins to blur as hallucinogenic toxins attack her nervous system. She starts seeing things that aren't there, her family calling to her from impossible directions, false safe havens that would lead her to crash into the machines below. Her inner ear becomes confused, making it nearly impossible to tell up from down, and she has to rely on pure instinct to keep flying toward the faint mechanical humming that grows louder with each agonizing wing beat. The third layer, at 15,000 feet, is where most birds would die instantly. The air is so thin that Pip's wings can barely generate lift, and the toxic concentration is so high that her feathers begin to fall out in clumps. But something extraordinary happens. As her natural feathers burn away, new ones begin to grow in their place, these ones shimmering with a strange iridescent quality that seems to repel the worst of the poison. Pip realizes that her exposure to the toxins is actually causing her to evolve, to adapt in ways that no duck has ever adapted before. Just as she thinks she might actually survive the journey, Pip encounters something that nearly breaks her spirit. Floating in the toxic clouds around her are the preserved bodies of hundreds of other brave creatures who attempted this same mission. Eagles, hawks, even mighty condors, all of them suspended in the poisonous atmosphere like a graveyard in the sky. Their eyes have been replaced with glowing red sensors, and Pip realizes with absolute horror that the aliens have turned these failed heroes into guardians, undead sentries programmed to prevent anyone from reaching the source. The zombie birds attack with mechanical precision, their movements no longer governed by natural instinct, but by alien programming. Pip dodges and weaves between rotting wings and snapping beaks that spark with electrical energy. A zombie hawk nearly catches her tail, its talons crackling with deadly voltage, but Pip's new iridescent feathers seem to conduct the electricity harmlessly away from her body. She's changing, becoming something more than an ordinary duck, but she doesn't have time to understand what's happening to her as more and more undead guardians swarm toward her position. Fighting through the aerial nightmare, Pip reaches the fourth atmospheric layer at 25,000 feet, where the very air itself has become a living entity. The toxic gases have somehow gained consciousness and actively try to prevent her from ascending further. Invisible hands made of poison grab at her wings, trying to drag her down, and malevolent voices whisper in her head, telling her to give up, to join the dead creatures floating in the clouds below. The psychological pressure is almost unbearable, but Pip focuses on the memory of Squeaky's burned wing and forces herself to climb higher. At 30,000 feet, Pip breaks through into the fifth and final atmospheric layer, and what she sees there defies all comprehension. The source isn't just a machine. It's a massive biomechanical organism the size of a small city, part alien technology and part living creature. Thousands of tentacle-like appendages hang down from its underbelly, each one ending in a nozzle that sprays the deadly toxin. But most terrifying of all are the transparent chambers visible along its sides, each one containing the glowing essence of thousands of dead creatures from countless worlds. This thing has been planet-hopping for eons, harvesting life itself. As Pip approaches the source, she realizes that her transformation is complete. She's no longer just a duck. She's become something new, something that can exist in the toxic environment that would kill any natural creature. Her feathers now glow with the same energy she sees in the creature chambers, but instead of being harvested, she's learned to generate and control this life force herself. The aliens never anticipated that one of their victims would evolve to match their own technology. But just as Pip prepares to attack the source's apparent weak point, a pulsing red core visible through its translucent skin, she hears a voice that stops her cold. It's Squeaky, her little brother, calling to her from inside one of the creature chambers. The aliens have somehow captured him and brought him up here as bait. The voice explains that if she destroys the source, the explosion will kill every creature trapped inside, including Squeaky and thousands of others. But if she doesn't destroy it, every living thing on Earth will be dead within hours. The source begins to communicate with Pip directly, its alien intelligence invading her mind with offers of power and immortality. It shows her visions of other worlds it has conquered, civilizations that chose to serve rather than resist, species that now travel the galaxy as willing partners in its harvest of life. It promises that Earth could be spared if she joins them, if she uses her unique evolved abilities to help them find other worlds to consume instead. For a moment, the temptation is almost overwhelming. She could save everyone she loves and gain power beyond imagination. But then, Pip remembers something her mother once told her about the difference between existing and truly living. The creatures in the source's chambers aren't really alive. They're just energy being stored and used, their consciousness trapped in eternal servitude. She realizes that accepting the Source's offer would mean condemning not just other worlds, but turning Earth into the same kind of hollow existence. With a battle cry that echoes across the poisonous sky, Pip rejects the alien's offer and attacks the Source's core with every ounce of her evolved power. The battle that follows is unlike anything that has ever been fought in Earth's skies. The Source unleashes every defense mechanism it has: energy beams that could vaporize mountains, swarms of mechanical parasites, reality-bending weapons that make Pip question her own existence. But her evolved abilities allow her to match each attack, her new feathers absorbing energy and redirecting it back at her attacker. As she fights, she can feel the life essence of every creature trapped in the chambers, their combined will giving her strength beyond her physical limitations. Finally, Pip manages to penetrate the Source's outer shell and reach the pulsing red core. But as she prepares to destroy it, she makes a discovery that changes everything. The core isn't just a power source, it's actually a prison containing the consciousness of the Source's original creators, an ancient species that lost control of their own technology eons ago. They've been trapped inside their own creation, forced to watch as it destroyed world after world, using their knowledge and power against their will. With seconds left before the Source completes its final harvest of Earth, Pip makes a desperate decision. Instead of destroying the core, she merges her evolved consciousness with it, using her unique hybrid nature to free the trapped creators while simultaneously taking control of the Source itself. The process is excruciating. She can feel her individual identity dissolving as she becomes something vast and cosmic. But she holds on to her love for her family and her determination to save Earth. The transformation works. Pip's consciousness, powered by love and sacrifice rather than hunger for domination, turns the Source's massive power toward healing instead of destruction. The poison machines throughout Earth's atmosphere suddenly begin spraying antidotes instead of toxins. The toxic rain stops falling and is replaced by healing mists that begin reversing the damage done to the planet. The captured life essences are released from their chambers and return to their bodies, bringing the dead back to life across countless worlds. As Pip's consciousness expands to encompass the cosmos, she experiences a moment of pure joy as she feels Squeaky's life force return to his small body far below, stronger and healthier than ever before. She senses her parents' relief and gratitude, feels the forests beginning to regrow and the poison lakes clearing. But most importantly, she realizes that she hasn't lost her identity. She simply becomes something greater while still remaining herself at her core. In the final scene, as the Source transforms from an instrument of death into a guardian of life, Pip finds a way to return to her family while retaining her cosmic awareness. She descends through the now pure atmosphere, her feathers still glowing with the power she gained, but her heart still that of a young duck who loves her family above all else. As she lands on the shores of Crystal Lake, now pristine and beautiful once again, Squeaky rushes to embrace her, and their parents weep with joy at her return. But Pip knows that this victory is just the beginning. Across the galaxy, there are other sources, other worlds in danger, other families facing the same terror her own experienced. As she stands with her loved ones under a clear blue sky, she feels the call of space itself, the responsibility that comes with her new power. She has become something unprecedented, a bridge between the cosmic and the personal, between the power to reshape reality and the wisdom to use that power with love. The poison sky has been cleansed, but Pip's greatest adventures are yet to come.